This is the Asheville Championship on ESPN. From Harrah's Cherokee Center in Asheville, North Carolina, it's the third place game of the inaugural Asheville Championship and a Conference USA SEC matchup between the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers and the South Carolina Gamecocks. Thank you for spending part of your Sunday with us. We are working remotely along with former Purdue All-American Robbie Hummel. I'm Mark Neely. This tournament began, Robbie, on Friday night. And for Western Kentucky, their point guard, Davion McKnight, was outstanding. It should be a great point guard matchup tonight. McKnight took over that game on Friday with 22 points in the final 9.5 minutes.
Well, he almost brought him all the way back against Minnesota 2 nights ago. And you're right, Mark. He was absolutely fantastic. 34 points on the night, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, no turnovers, played 39 minutes. He's now played 79 of the 80 allotable minutes in the season for Western Kentucky. Got it going in a variety of ways. Tonight, South Carolina's going to figure out a way to stop him, and that starts with a tough point guard out of East Chicago, Indiana, Jermaine Couisnard, a guy that can get to the basket, made some perimeter jump shots late. A very good player. We've got a great matchup of point guards here tonight in this game here in Asheville.
And it's for the third place trophy in this inaugural Asheville Championship. Couisnard and McKnight, great point guard matchup we will be watching tonight. We are just about ready to go. Players on the floor. Western Kentucky wearing the red uniforms. South Carolina in the white. And our officials for this game, Terry Oglesby, Amy Bonner, Byron Jarrett. And we are underway, and it's Western Kentucky and McKnight that has the first possession. Ball tipped into the backcourt, run down by Luke Frampton. McKnight bumps into Levesque. Ball chased in the corner. Quick pass down low. Deflection. Couisnard's going to pick up a very early foul.
That was just straight scramble mode right there for South Carolina on defense. And for the most part, I would say the Gamecocks did a nice job communicating. But at the end of the day, you get a size mismatch with Jalen Butts on Jermaine Couisnard, and Western Kentucky wisely going to that mismatch in the post.
Butts at the foul line, 3 of 5 from the line coming in on the year. Nails the first. Open the scoring. Transfer from DePaul, who has been kind of an X factor even through the first couple of games of this year for Western Kentucky.
They're going to need more from him here tonight. You look at what he gave against Minnesota, 5 points, only 1 rebound. If he does that tonight, they will get crushed on the glass by South Carolina.
Take a look at the starting lineup brought to you by Asheville, and you just saw number 0, James Reese the fourth, with a 3 from the right side to get the Gamecocks going.
A welcome sight for South Carolina fans. They started 1 for 20 from 3 last time out.
But somebody forgot about Josh Anderson.
Well, it's simple. If somebody's at the back screen, you've got to open up. And when you don't do that, you're going to give up layups.
That was last touch by Levesque. Frampton let it go out of bounds. Here's the starting lineup brought to you by Asheville for the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. McKnight, Frampton, Anderson, Hamilton, and Butts the starting 5 for head coach Rick Stansbury. Here is McKnight. What a second half he had. 22 points in the final 9.5 minutes in their loss to Minnesota. That ball banks off for Hamilton, rebounded by Eric Stevenson. That's deflected by Anderson, and it's a steal for the Hilltoppers. McKnight looked like he wanted to line up a 3 instead. He comes around up top. Anderson puts up the 3. Good.
When you're casual, it can get you beat. And right now, a little casual here from Western Kentucky in transition. And the lid stays on for Eric Stevenson, but some sloppy play on both ends. South Carolina turning the basketball over. Western Kentucky not getting back.
The lid you talk about for Stevenson, missing that 3 to open this game. He's now 1 for 18 on the season from behind the arc.
I will say, Mark, he did some other things 2 nights ago, just like that can help his team win. He's not going to stop shooting, and Frank Martin wants him to shoot open shots. And that's what South Carolina can do to you. They can play patty cake on the offensive glass, and with Levesque, Josh Gray, We talked about Eric Stevenson going, you don't block out in your Western Kentucky, you're going to be in a heap of trouble.
Here's McKnight, and that's an offensive foul against Davion McKnight.
A gutsy play there by Jermaine Couisnard coming over. Already has one foul as we see Frank Martin on the sideline. But Couisnard reading the play, coming over. The help defense takes the charge. But boy, if that goes the other way, and that's called a block, he'd have 2 fouls at 2:30 into the game.
Levesque had a bucket last trip down the floor for South Carolina. Frank Martin mentioned on his postgame radio show Friday night, he thought the second half for Levesque on Friday was the best half he has ever played in a Gamecocks uniform. It's out of bounds. Last touch by the Gamecocks.
South Carolina's got to figure out this press break right now. Josh Gray can help you in a lot of ways, but breaking the press and bringing it up is not one of them. That pass was really poor.
Pass over the top goes off the hands of Butts, off the backboard into Reese, who's having some trouble with the dribble, but is able to bat it to Stevenson. Even Stevenson had a little issue with the dribble. Looks like it's a hot potato right now. A jumper.
Like somebody sprayed that ball with WD-40 out here.
Right. Missed the jumper. Stays a 1-point Hilltoppers lead. McKnight trying to get to the rim, and he is fouled by Jacoby Wright. Rick Stansbury, his 6th season. He has led Western Kentucky to 4 consecutive 20-plus win seasons. Last 3 years making the conference tournament. Was just an eyelash away from making the NCAA tournament, but lost in the conference tournament title game to North Texas.
They've been knocking on the door. I mean, you talk about those 3 games. You talk about the COVID year where they were favored to win Conference USA in the conference tournament. And that's a fine line between winning and losing. They were so close against North Texas. Then North Texas ends up going and beating Purdue in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Last trip to the NCAA tournament for the Hilltoppers, 2013. They were Sun Belt champs that year. Lost to the #1 seed Kansas in the NCAA tournament. Deep 3, Stevenson. That drought continues for him from beyond the arc.
Well, he is now 1 of 20 to start the season from 3.
Missed by Butts. No offensive rebound. Pushed in a 3. Reese, who hit one early to begin the game, but a one and done there. And McKnight races it ahead, tries to split 2 defenders, and a reach in and a foul there. Looks like it's going to go against James Reese, the 5th. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Harrah's Cherokee Casinos. Put on your party hat. By Wicked Weed. Box out your thirst with a fresh Pernicious. Wicked Weed Brewing. Drink different, play different. And by Asheville, North Carolina. Visit exploreasheville.com to plan your mountain getaway. South Carolina off to a 1-for-6 shooting start from beyond the arc. They trail it by 1. Bit of a haphazard beginning for both teams here in this third-place game, Robert.
I guess the only good news for South Carolina is that when you start 2 of 8 from the field, you've got a lot of opportunities to go get those rebounds on the offensive end of the floor, and they've got the bodies to do it. You're right. It has been a little sloppy on both ends. I have to think these teams will settle in here as we get into this game, but boy, it was a rough start there for both.
Levesque adjusted that first shot from Hamilton, but they're going to call that foul on Wildens Levesque. He picks up his first. Couisnard, who picked up an early foul in nearly a second, has come off the floor for the Gamecocks. Jalen Butts back at the line for the Hilltoppers, where he hit 1 of 2 earlier in the game. Well, Jalen Butts, number 3 in DePaul basketball history with a 59% field goal percentage. Western Kentucky would like to see a lot of that this year, Robert.
Well, they certainly would. And Rick Stansbury, in talking about Jalen Butts, he likes his skill. At times he's been on him a little bit about his effort. And it's not that it's been bad. It just, I think it's the coach Stansbury thinks it could be better. And boy, you're going to press. You're going to protect the basket. That's about as easy as it's going to be for Wilton Levesque.
Second bucket of the game for Levesque. McKnight. Hamilton from 10, got it to go.
They need him to be a factor. At times against Minnesota, it seemed like Jarius Hamilton and Josh Anderson just weren't factors in that game. Hamilton got off to the great start. The 2 exhibition games, 20.5 points a game, and even against Alabama State, 21. Not the case against Minnesota.
They did not get it across in time. Then second call.
Well, if I'm Frank Martin, I'm getting Josh Gray out of the backcourt in the press breaker. He just, that is not something that's to his strengths, and you can see they're having a chat about it right now.
There's McKnight off that handoff. Well, there's Gray, what he can do very well. I should say Woodley can do very well, and adjusted that shot and blocked it. Stevenson just can't find it from three-point range. He's missed his first 4 from there tonight.
That's an open shot. Every shot he's taken has been short.
Collapsed on Hamilton from the left elbow. Butts is short with that. Left-hand dribble, Couisnard blocked from behind by Anderson, but a foul down low. Well, no A.J. Wilson again tonight. He has not played due to a lower back injury, which he had happen while he was working out in the weight room. They could definitely use A.J. Wilson, who's a grad transfer, spent 4 years at George Mason.
An elite shot blocker. Talk about A.J. Wilson being out, Keyshawn Bryant being suspended for the first 5 games of the season. That's a preseason second team all SEC selection. They're not full right now, that's for sure. They've got a good amount of transfers they're trying to work in. South Carolina is certainly a work in progress, as many teams in the new era of recruiting with transfers are going to be this season.
Frank Martin mentioned in his post-game comments last night that had A.J. Wilson been available, he would have guarded Tosan Ewolma, who wound up being one of the big offensive producers for Princeton last night. He runs into Levesque. That is an offensive foul. So Levesque, playing with one personal, takes the charge.
It looked like Wilton Levesque was just posted up. He knew it was coming, and boy, stood in there. Didn't necessarily fall squarely, and sometimes that can lead to a block being called, but I thought he was there. It just kind of fell awkwardly. The official gives him the charge regardless.
True freshman Devin Carter in the game. This is a 3 from Couisnard. Couisnard gives the Gamecocks a 2-point lead. A scoop shot high off the glass. So Marion Sharp, who's in the game from Western Kentucky, backed that back, but right to South Carolina, deflected out of bounds by Luke Frampton.
Wilton Levesque is really impacting this game on the defensive end of the floor. And here once again, Western Kentucky bringing some pressure. And if you're going to do that, that's fine. But once it's over with, you've got to match up and find a man. 2 guys run away from Jermaine Couisnard, and he waltzes right into a step-in 3.
Couisnard did have a game-high 17 points against Princeton on Friday. Hit 3 of 8 3-point shots, played 30 minutes.
He about brought him back. And he was making everything at the end of that game.
Trying to go up with a slam. Gray, and it's out of bounds to Western Kentucky.
One down.
You know, both point guards we mentioned at the top of the show, McKnight for Western Kentucky and Couisnard for South Carolina, did similar things, Robbie, in the games Friday. Almost brought their teams back from big deficits.
And just went crazy to end the game. Certainly Davion McKnight to a bigger extent, but you're right. Both those guys did just about everything they could.
Hamilton split 3 or 4 defenders, and then a defender came down on him. That was Josh Gray.
He had a really hard time guarding Tosan Awoma 2 nights ago, and it's going to be the same deal with Jarius Hamilton, because Jarius Hamilton is a three-point shooter that's going to play off the closeout. That's been a tough deal here in Asheville for Josh Gray.
Well, Tuesday night, we got a great college hoop doubleheader for you. Number 25, Virginia, is in Houston to take on the 15th-ranked Cougars at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. And then the Phil Knight Invitational is back this year. It's a single matchup. BYU squares off against Knight's alma mater. Number 13, Oregon from Portland. Both games on ESPN and the ESPN app. Fun time of year with these tournaments. Got Myrtle Beach, Charleston coming up soon. We're going to be going to Vegas for the Roman main event. Howie Invitational is going to be in Vegas.
Now, Feast Week is one of is one of the best times of the year. I think Champ Week is right up there as well. But I mean, the amount of good basketball we get over Thanksgiving it's really a fun time to see some matchups we don't get all that often. And you see teams that don't play a lot of basketball against each other, and I think that's the beauty of Feast Week.
Some great matchups this weekend, not in the tournaments, but just I want to ask you what you thought of Villanova, UCLA, and then last night Gonzaga, Texas.
I thought UCLA was phenomenal, and the depth that they have. Miles Johnson, Cody Riley goes out and they don't miss a beat because Miles Johnson's a really good player from Rutgers. And then last night, I think we saw how good Gonzaga is. Texas definitely a work in progress. A lot of transfers, much like South Carolina. But, man, how nice is it, though, that we're getting some big-time matchups in home-and-home settings. Awesome. We get a lot of them like this, where you have neutral courts. And to me, the home-and-homes are really cool because the atmospheres are just incredible.
And that's the key. Fans back in the stands.
No doubt.
Reese. Woodley. Deflected. Sharp. Battling, but he stepped out of bounds, it appeared. Woodley did. Timeout. We're under 12 minutes to play. First half of this third-place game from Asheville. 2-point lead for South Carolina. Well, three-point shooting has been an issue for the Gamecocks, and that's on the negative side, Robbie.
Yeah, it has been. And right now, shooting in general is a negative for both of these teams. You look at South Carolina, 1 of their last 7. Western Kentucky, 1 of their last 10 from the field. And this has certainly been a defensive slugfest. I'm not sure if it's really good defense or maybe a little bit more of just some poor offense. But the shooting has certainly been a problem for both these teams.
Rick Martin's team 1-1. They beat USC Upstate on Tuesday night to open the season. Then the 4-point loss to Princeton in this tournament on Friday. Western Kentucky also 1-1. Beat Alabama State on Tuesday in Bowling Green and lost also by 4, but to Minnesota. And there's an impressive slam. And Josh Anderson is very capable of doing that a few times a game.
Yes, he is. If you're South Carolina, that's just too easy. A simple ball screen, and Josh Anderson is all of a sudden hanging on the rim.
The ball's tipped, and it's out of bounds going to Western Kentucky.
It's just a simple rub action, and there's nobody home on the backside for South Carolina. Nice job by Luke Frampton. That was like one of those pick plays you see on the football field where he's just trying to get in the way, and Josh Anderson is just shooting right off of it.
Well, look who just brought the ball up the floor for Western Kentucky. Number 25 is Cameron Justice, and he's got a great story going on this weekend we'll tell you about. Frampton 3 off the left side. Been quite a weekend for Justice. Here's Reese in the corner. He makes an adjustment and drains another 3, his second of the game. So here's Justice, a guy who played a couple years ago for Western Kentucky. Had spent time at Vandy in his career. Was a graduate assistant for them this year for academics. Was granted eligibility. That happened earlier in the week. It's a Frampton 3. Offensive rebound for Anderson. So Justice becomes available. Here he is. He's going to shoot a deep three. A little bit long. That would have been too perfect for our story. And he nailed a three there. Long pass up ahead. Levesque saves it and just throws it past Amy Bonner. But that did deflect apparently off Western Kentucky. But back to Justice. He says, okay, great. I'm able to come back to play, but my girlfriend and I, Kaylee, have been planning to get married this weekend, the weekend that we're in right now. So Cameron Justice got married in Pikeville, Kentucky last night. Actually, yesterday afternoon. He couldn't play here on Friday because that's the rehearsal dinner. There was actually talk he may play on Friday, but didn't. So it's been a wild weekend for Cameron Justice, who exchanged vows with his longtime girlfriend, Kaylee, yesterday in Pikeville, Kentucky, which is about a 3-hour drive from Asheville.
Man, there were legit rumblings that he was going to play on Friday and then drive back, get married, and come back and play again today.
That's a long one from Brashear. You know, when we've asked Rick Stansbury about it, he says, yeah, Cameron Justice, who had started for Western Kentucky a couple years ago, can help them. That's a tough shot for the true freshman, Devin Carter, that he kisses in.
Well, honestly, just bodies can help Western Kentucky. They need depth and they need guards, and certainly with Keith Williams waiting his NCAA fate, I guess you could say, and a little bit of irony that Cameron Justice, as a GA, is all of a sudden eligible, and Keith Williams just parked on the bench.
Well, there's the tallest player in Division I, 7'5" Jamarion Sharp with a flush and a chance for a three-point play.
The pick and roll has given South Carolina some problems, and Jamarion Sharp doesn't have very far to go to dunk this basketball. See, over the top of two South Carolina defenders, a nice pocket pass. I thought Jamarion Sharp played really well defensively 2 nights ago. You know, hasn't been much of a factor on the offensive end scoring it. He's a rim protector, he's a rebounder, he's a roller and a dunker. But right there, doing what he does best and getting to the front of that rim.
So here at Riley Soren, tallest players in D1. But that's getting up there.
That was good deep by Jamarion Sharp again.
Yeah. Here's Justice. Rebounded by Reese. Kuznarek. He puts it up. Short with a three. McKnight got off balance, but was able to find Cameron Justice. Justice finds McKnight. Loose ball. And a timeout. South Carolina gets a timeout. So they use their first to keep possession. With the timeout, we'll step aside. 3-point lead for the Gamecocks. Folks, I don't know what your weekend's been like, but if it compares to Cameron Justice's, you've had a whale of a weekend. Because here's Cam's rehearsal dinner in Pikeville, Kentucky, Friday night. Got to be there if you're the groom, obviously. Got married yesterday at 4:30 in Pikeville. This morning comes to Asheville. He's got a lot on his plate here, Robbie.
Just rolled in, let's ball. Get married yesterday, let's play a college basketball game today.
And congratulations to he and wife Kaylee. Kaylee, who was a cheerleader at the University of Tennessee. And great shot of Kaylee and Cameron from yesterday in Pikeville, Kentucky. Congratulations. Oh, we have multiple photos. Very nice. Some pressure put on in the backcourt by Anderson. Well as McKnight. And Frank Martin's about to blow a gasket.
Yeah, you could hear him get the ball in the middle. you got to flash somebody in there, and
they don't have much time to get it across.
Boy, that was a nightmare.
Throw it out of bounds.
A press breaker for South Carolina.
Yeah, that was rough. Western Kentucky with the ball down 3. Western Kentucky shooting just 25%, 5 of 20, 1 of 9 3-point shooting. South Carolina's at 30%, 6 of 20, 3 of 12 from beyond the arc. Here comes Kuznar. Stevenson from the left elbow, got it.
That was a really good sequence for Eric Stevenson. Great defense on this end. You pass up a shot, you find Brandon Martin, and you get him a wide open 15-footer.
That's the first time I can recall Stevenson, though, passing up that shot this weekend.
Hey, he's a confident guy. His shot selection has certainly been questionable. He did not take good shots in the game against Princeton, but he's done it on this end. He's rebounded, hit 6 steals against the Tigers, and boy, another good defensive possession right here by South Carolina.
A shot clock violation. We'll give it to the Gamecocks. That leaves Coach Stansbury shaking his head. Kuznar, 4 points, 3 rebounds in his 10 minutes. Reese. Levesque back out. This is a 3 from Brandon Martin, and the coach's son knocks it down.
It's an easy game when you play it the right way. And right there you get a post entry to Wildens Levesque. The double comes. He throws it back to Brandon Martin. And Martin steps right in and nails a 3.
That's 5 quick points for Brandon Martin off the bench for the Gamecocks. Jumper there. Josh Anderson off the mark. Hamilton trying to go back up and had Levesque with his arms in the air along with Martin. Slip under 6 minutes to go first half in Asheville in this 3rd place game in the Asheville Championship. And Kuznar on the drive. Count the basket, they say. And 1.
I love the drive from Jermaine Kuznar. He's going to give you a jab. He turns this ball screen down. I believe it was Luke Frampton guarding him, and he just burned it to the basket. There you see the content, a little bit of NBA continuation right there, but if you're a South Carolina fan, it's been hard to score. You'll certainly take it.
It has helped
Which
South Carolina open up a 10-point lead.
Yeah, we should add that NBA continuation is not a thing here, but for whatever reason on that play in college, it was allowed.
Kuznar completes the 3-point play, and 11-point lead for South Carolina. The largest of the game, thanks to the 8-0 run in just over 3 minutes. McKnight, 17-footer, good. Been waiting for McKnight to kind of pick up where he left off Friday night.
He hasn't had many opportunities. He had a very quiet first half, and for them to win, they're going to need him to score at a high level. He's got to be more aggressive.
Justice fell down. That allowed Stevenson a pretty much unimpeded lane to the basket to lay it in. Here's Cameron Justice. Nobody there. McKnight thought Butts would be on the other end of that, but he was not. Well, our Week 10 Monday Night Football matchup is an NFC West rivalry game. Matthew Stafford and the Rams in San Francisco to take on Deebo Samuel and the Niners. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN, Deportes, and the ESPN app. And yes, ESPN2 will have Monday Night Football with Peyton and Eli Manning back. Gotta admit, I'm one of the folks that really enjoy listening to the brothers.
I think it's hilarious. You can tell chemistry is so real and natural, and it's been really funny. The guests they've had on have been outstanding.
Justice bump there by Jacoby Wright. Number 2 on Wright.
Substitution number 23, Devin Carter.
It's going to put Cameron Justice at the line. He's 0 of 2 from the field so far, so looking for his first point or points back, and won't get it after missing the front end of a 1-and-1 after South Carolina's 8th team foul. Reese eyeing Gray, instead puts it up. 1 and done. Rebound yanked down by Josh Anderson.
It didn't feel like South Carolina was all together on that possession. You could hear the coaches yelling from the other end of the floor and a lot of standing around.
But gets that one to fall.
He just faced up, ripped and went on the baseline. And again, Josh Gray having a hard time moving his feet when players are driving him.
In the lane, spin move right. Tried to kiss it high off the glass. Quick outlet pass. Justice has to deflect it and can't save it. And sides into the cameraman. Cameron Justice hustling. There is wife Kaylee, who's made the trip over after the wedding yesterday.
South Carolina's been very balanced, but Jermaine Couisnard leads all scorers with 7. Got hot 2 nights ago from the three-point line. That's continued on today. You see the 3 from the top of the key. He can really get to the basket and drew contact right there. And 1 opportunity. 7 points, 2 of 4 from the field. This South Carolina team has shown some signs of life after a really tough loss 2 nights ago against Princeton.
Well, today they started 6 of 20 from the field. Since then, though, they have hit 4 of their last 6 shots.
I think on this end of the floor, Mark, they've dialed up the intensity and the focus in their half-court defense. Early on, at times was a layup fest for Western Kentucky, and they've locked in. It's been a much better effort defensively the last 10 minutes.
Levesque couldn't finish that slam, but there was contact, I believe, from Anderson. Oh, it is on Josh Anderson. South Carolina just two of 4 now from the line after that miss by Levesque. Levesque 6'10", 255 pounds. You had in Gray, the transfer from LSU, is 7 feet tall, 255. You got Woodley, a freshman, 6'8", 280. A.J. Wilson, who they hope to get back, 6'7", 234. He's not a small man. They've got some big bodies, Rob.
I mean, you didn't mention Javon Benson. You didn't mention Trayvon Minot. I mean, the list just goes on and on.
I was just trying to be somewhat brief. There's a miss by McKnight at the rim that was challenged. We got Chico Carter in the game. Transfer from Murray State. Carter to Levesque. He's going to shoot it over Hamilton and show his range from about 10 feet.
Williams Levesque is a nice player. And he can shoot it to 15 feet. Talked about the size he's got. He's going to be one of the strongest guys in the SEC. And he's had a nice tournament here in Asheville.
Justice rounded out, and a Levesque rebound, his 5th of the game. Reese has a couple of threes. You can hear Frank Martin saying move. He's not thinking it's going stagnant, and At the other end, it's going to be lost the handle all alone. And that's a microcosm of what's been going on in this game.
He just never corralled it. We talked about the WD-40 on the basketball earlier. Apparently it's continued here because this ball is flying all over the place.
Minute and a half to go. First half in his third place game for Asheville. A three. Got it and one. A chance for a 4-point play for Jarius Hamilton.
Well, Western Kentucky needed that. Their offense has struggled mightily here tonight, and seemingly both teams had opportunities on both ends of the floor the last couple possessions, and Jarius Hamilton, he does not lack confidence. He's going to get him up. This pass comes over, and hard to tell the contact right there. But now the opportunity for a 4-point play.
And indeed, he completes it. A 4-point play pulls Western Kentucky within 7. Been down by as many as 11. The ball kicks away from Devin Carter, loose, where it's grabbed by Brandon Martin. Carter going to left. Good ball movement. A three by Reese, his third of the game.
That is a mature play by Devin Carter. A lot of freshmen would have shot that ball and had Jamarion Sharp punch that thing 15 rows into the stands. Instead, he swings to the corner. You get a swing opportunity. The three-point line has been South Carolina, or more so has been South Carolina's friend, but a really mature play by the freshman right there.
Under a minute to play. First half, a 10-point game in Asheville. 50 seconds to go in the first half of this third place game. The inaugural Asheville Championship from Asheville, North Carolina. Frank Martin's team is up 10, close to their largest lead of the game of 11. McKnight just 2 points in this first half after a career-high 34 against Minnesota on Friday. How about that? Cameron Justice, happy nuptials. There's his first made field goal as a married man.
That was a quick release. He just filled that lane and let it fly.
The travel committed by Couisnard is going to give Western Kentucky a chance to take the final shot of the half and try to cut into this 7-point deficit.
It really felt like Western Kentucky didn't have much energy. Things weren't going their way, and all of a sudden, the defense gets a couple stops. They've made a couple shots here. Jarius Hamilton gets the N1 three, and then Cameron Justice making a huge one from the right wing.
Justice flipped up, and that's the end of the half. So halftime in Asheville in the third place game, and a 7-point lead for South Carolina. Now look what Reese and Couisnard have done compared to the rest of the team there, Robbie.
How important those two guys are. They're going to need Jermaine Couisnard, also James Reese, who really struggled. Both those guys going to have to have big second half for South Carolina.
Zubin and Seth on the other side of the break. Place game of this inaugural Asheville Championship. Conference USA represented by Western Kentucky, the SEC by South Carolina. It's a 7-point lead for the Gamecocks. Along with Robbie Hummel, I'm Mark Neely. Robbie, you got the better of the guard play in half number one.
It certainly was South Carolina, and I think when you look at James Reese and Jermaine Couisnard, those two guys really had nice first halves. James Reese struggled against Princeton, just 2 of 12 from the field. Tonight, he's brought perimeter shooting. He's made 3 threes. He's got 9 points, and that's something that South Carolina and Frank Martin desperately needs for their point guard play. Jermaine Couisnard, we talked about it at the start of this game. The matchup with him and Davion McKnight was going to be huge. McKnight has 2 points. He had 34 2 nights ago, but Jermaine Couisnard also had 7 points, 3 rebounds as well. The guards for South Carolina were very good there in the first half.
Take a look at the first half stats brought to you by Wicked Weed. South Carolina winds up shooting 43% for the half, they did not shoot the ball well to begin the game, so they recovered in that regard. With Reese and Couisnard, as Robbie mentioned, leading the way with their combined 16 points. And it's the Gamecocks with the first possession of the second half. Stevenson defended by Frampton. There's two guys right there that one of them wants, or both want to see their three ball start falling here in Asheville. Bucks there to clean it up.
Davion McKnight just playing that passing lane, playing a little bit of possum. Didn't seem like he was really going to get into it, then shot through. And you can see Western Kentucky going with a little bit of a zone look here, changing some things up. And for the first possession, South Carolina not handling it well.
Foul on Josh Anderson, his second. Reese looking for Levesque. It's up from Stevenson. Wow.
He just cannot buy one. That was halfway down.
Stevenson, so now 0 for 5 3-point shooting in this game. Close your ears if you're a Carolina fan. If you don't want to hear this, he's 1 for 22 to start the year.
You can look at that two ways. You can say he's due, which it's hard, man. When you're shooting like that and you're not making shots, it can really mentally affect you. And the good thing that Eric Stevenson has done, well, he hasn't forced it on offense tonight, and he's done other things.
Couisnard sees an opportunity to take it the other way, lays it in, and a chance for a three-point play.
South Carolina 2 nights ago against Princeton only had 4 fast break points, and tonight they're already at 10. Just a tip pass and Jermaine Couisnard's off to the races. Davion McKnight, if you're going to foul him, but if you just tap him on the arm like that, just giving up a 3-point play.
McKnight picked up his second foul. Couisnard finishes off the 3-point play. That puts him into double digits. First score to do so tonight with 10 points. Collision, Frampton keeping it. Stevenson right up on it, batted away. Staying with the Hilltoppers. Now Frampton, number 14 for Western Kentucky. He's 0 for 3 3-point shooting tonight. He has not hit a 3 yet this year. He's 0 for 15 to start the year.
And you feel like Eric Stevenson and Luke Frampton might be feeling like they're looking in the mirror with the way they started the year shooting the ball.
Frampton finally got one. There's his first of the season. Cuts it to a 5-point game.
It was just a matter of time. He shot 41% from 3 last year, and one of those deals where he hadn't seen it go in early, but a great sign for Western Kentucky.
Levesque got knocked to the floor. Foul on Western Kentucky, and this one finally fell after 15 that did not.
It has to feel like the weight of the world is off Luke Frampton's shoulders. Finally, one goes down, and we'll see if this can grow his confidence. Not that he ever lost it. Good shooters don't, but it can certainly be a mental block on you.
Frampton, a guy who hit 100 threes in a season, while at Davidson only Steph Curry done that with that team, besides Frampton. And see, Hamilton pleaded his case. Hamilton had a pretty good first half, relatively speaking, for Western Kentucky with 9 points.
It was a bounce back for him because he struggled against Minnesota. Had 12 points, but was 5 of 14. They need him. Now, honestly, Western Kentucky, with their current roster situation, needs all 5 starters to play well every night. You look at Jamarion Sharp coming off the bench. He's not going to be a big scorer. Tonight, Sherman Brashear has played a little bit, but has not scored. I mean, there's just so much pressure without Keith Williams, without Zion Harmon. They need these 5 starters to play at a high level at all times.
Almost lost it. McKnight finds Frampton, who goes in for a stuff over Levesque, and now he gets a steal.
What a play.
3, no good from Hamilton. That had a chance to make it a 1-point game.
What a sequence that would have been had it gone down. Luke Frampton, welcome to the tournament.
Now Frampton on the run again, tries to adjust as Stevenson comes crashing in from behind. Well, how do you follow up your first made three of the season? Take it with authority to the rim.
I mean, this is just going upstairs. And I mean, boy, to have a play like that, then get a steal, and it's amazing how when you're a shooter, one goes down and your confidence just blossoms. And Luke Frampton all of a sudden making his impact felt here in Asheville.
Hey, I want to go back to your point, Robbie, just for some folks I'm sure Western Kentucky fans are well aware. Keith Williams not playing. He was a transfer from Cincinnati because of an NCAA eligibility issue right now. They're trying to don't really have a timeline for when he may be back. And then Zion Harmon, an outstanding true freshman recruit, out for personal reasons. But two big absences in this tournament for sure for Western Kentucky.
Two guys that would most definitely be a part of the rotation. I have to think that Keith Williams would most likely be a starter. That's a second-team All-American Conference player and a guy that has scored 1,000 points, won 2 AAC championships in Cincinnati. A really good player.
And another steal. This one by Butts. McKnight fouled by Levesque. And here comes Western Kentucky. They were down by as many as 11 in the first half, trailed by 7 at the half, and have a chance here with a couple of free throws to tie this game.
South Carolina is making passes right now as if they're playing 5-on-0, which they're clearly not. Western Kentucky's out there too, and right there, Wildens Levesque just throwing a pass without really paying attention to the defender.
First free throws of this game for McKnight. A career high 34 points Friday night against Minnesota. An incredible 22 of those points came in the final 9.5 minutes of the game when he completely took over. And we're tied at 35.
Getting to the rim at will. He can get it going in a hurry, and it doesn't take much to get him going.
Into the front court. Through freshman now.
Is really bothering South Carolina.
Must have been the message at half from head coach Rick Stansbury, because Western Kentucky has picked up the defensive intensity. Kuznar's three. The only lead for Western Kentucky came early in the game. They were up 6-3 inside the first couple of minutes. They won't have a chance here to reclaim the lead as they turn it over. Deflecting around. Frampton got a hand on it, and then in the right spot was Josh Anderson to save it for Western Kentucky. McKnight kicks it. Anderson. We stay tied at 35. Oh, foul. Devin Carter hard to the floor. He's looking around like, hey, where's the whistle? But Western Kentucky has bounced back. Lots of time to play in Asheville. It's tied at 35. Well, Western Kentucky has outscored South Carolina 11-4 here in the second half. They're on a 6-0 run. What's sticking out right now, 18 South Carolina turnovers, Rob.
No, the turnovers here have certainly been the difference in the second half. But I felt like, Mark, to end the first half, it really felt like to me that South Carolina was a couple baskets and stops away from pushing this to 15, 16, 17 points and maybe breaking the spirit of Western Kentucky. But the Hilltoppers cut it to 7 at halftime, and now you're turning them over at a high level, and we've got ourselves a game.
You saw there was 6 turnovers in this half for South Carolina. Just one made field goal. Betts and Levesque. Betts able to get it back, tries to go back up with it. 2 tries for Butts in Western Kentucky, and cannot take the lead. Carter on the drive.
That's now 2 times that we've seen Devin Carter get to the basket and not be able to convert. We looked at that dunk before we went to break that was blocked by Josh Anderson. It was a clean block.
Both teams have gone a little cold here in the last couple of minutes. Just over 5 minutes gone here in the second half of this third place game of the inaugural Asheville Championship. And Monday Night Football with Peyton and Eli is back on ESPN2 this week, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. They break down the Rams and Niners game from their couches with special attention paid to the quarterbacks, of course, Matt Stafford, Jimmy Garoppolo, or maybe we see Trey Lance in this one, and also all those special guests. Who can break the little drought going here? Reese. He hits his 4th 3 of the game.
He's been the one guy for South Carolina that's been consistently making perimeter jump shots. They've now got 6 threes, and James Reese has 4 of them.
He's all over McKnight, guarding him closely. Anderson. The 6 to shoot. Frampton. Boy, I don't know if it's coincidence or not, Robbie. That first 3 of the year went down for him, and he seems like a much more confident player.
Well, no, he just took that ball right off the catch, and I believe it was Jalen Butts coming and setting a ball screen, wonderful pull-up, and Luke Frampton looks like a different player out here.
He's up to 9 points now, playing defense. Looked like he got a hack on Devin Carter and will pick up the foul. It will be his 3rd.
That's just one place where Western Kentucky, with the guys sitting out, they just can't absorb injuries and foul trouble. And they have got to avoid those 2 things at all costs. They just do not have the numbers, and they don't have the depth.
So Frampton comes out. Frampton and Butts each have 3 fouls for Western Kentucky. Justice is in. Sharp's going to come in as well. No big foul issues for South Carolina right now. Stevenson and Levesque each have 2, as does Wright. Nobody with 3 fouls for the Gamecocks. And the free throws for Carter. It's a 3-point lead for South Carolina. Drive McKnight. His pass is intercepted by Devin Carter. Carter weaves his way. Pass from Martin eludes Jacoby Wright. Not a good pass, and a turnover, and turnovers mounting for Frank Martin's team. Up to 20. Make that 19.
Honestly, the last 2 possessions, there was Davion McKnight's pass, so right there, Brandon Martin's. Not good.
Western Kentucky got down by as many as 11. Came back, was able to tie it here in the second half. Did not take the lead back. A 3 miss brings Carter. Getting it right back from Stevenson. Carter gets in the lane again. He's not been shy about driving towards the rim. Draws more contact there. And that is a Western Kentucky foul on Anderson.
Devin Carter has been very active here in the second half, and you can see Josh Anderson's guarding him, and Carter's going to show him the ball a couple times. Anderson not biting, so Devin Carter just blew right by him. Frank Martin raved about Devin Carter's ability to score and called him special. He's a really smooth operator, and for a freshman, doing a nice job out here.
Carter, his dad Anthony, played 13 years in the league, the NBA, and I believe he's still working for the Miami Heat in a front office role. By the way, the foul on Anderson, he's the 3rd Hilltopper now with 3 fouls. Well, Carter now with 6 points, thanks to being 4 of 4 from the foul line. Hamilton on the drive. Western Kentucky needed a bucket. They had got this game tied. Held down by 6. Now get it back to 3. Carter elects, I'm going to shoot it, around it out.
And that rebound. Sharp. Man, it looked like it went right over the top. I mean, unbelievable.
Trayvon Minot in the game. And there's a 3. Eric Stevenson.
Well, that had to feel really good for Eric Stevenson. I mean, he has really struggled with his jump shot.
Missed his first 5 3-point attempts of the game, which made him 1 for 22 on the year. But now he gets points in transition, driving it to the bucket, and a quick 5 points for Eric Stevenson, and suddenly it's an 8-point game.
Well, Eric Stevenson has been through a lot shooting the ball early this season, but finally the seal is off. And Eric Stevenson letting it fly from the left wing.
Well, Western Kentucky was able to tie this game at 35 thanks to Luke Frampton, with tonight's play of the game brought to you by Harrah's Cherokee Casino.
What a play he made to go upstairs and hammer that one and then be aware as Wildens Levesque is throwing that in. It's too bad Jerry Hamilton didn't knock that down for your old traditional 5-point play, but Luke Frampton has been energized, as honestly the second half has been a story for both him and Eric Stevenson of finally seeing some shots go down.
After tying it at 35, South Carolina has gone on a 12-4 run, so they lead at 47-39. Still just under 12 minutes to go in our third-place game of the inaugural Asheville Championship. We have the title game between Minnesota and Purdue coming up over on ESPN2, 7:30 Eastern tonight. Hamilton taken off the floor by Jacoby Wright.
Brandon Martin did a nice job of just walling up and making Jarius Hamilton score over the top of him. Didn't give any ground.
And the foul takes us to our under 12 timeout. It's 11:13 to go. South Carolina out of the SEC. Western Kentucky from Conference USA in an 8-point game. Well, neither team can be happy with as many times as they've turned the ball over, but really the trend in this game, Robbie, and we've had 4 ties, 3 lead changes, but for the most part, Frank Martin's team has been in front most of this game, and it seems like every time when you think that they're going to build a big lead, they start turning the ball over. Western Kentucky gets back in it. And then before Western Kentucky can take the lead, then they start turning the ball over.
It's not rocket science. When you take care of the basketball, good things happen. And certainly South Carolina's built their leads out, and they've turned it over. And then as Western Kentucky's turned it over, that lead has gone back to South Carolina. That's really been the story of this game. But I do think it's been interesting to see that for the last couple of minutes, and really in the second half, South Carolina has run a lot of their offense through Devin Carter. And Frank Martin is putting a lot of responsibility into the hand of this freshman right here, and he's given them some really good minutes.
And he's been able to get to the line with some aggressive drives to the rim. He's now 6 of 6 from the stripe as he hits both there. 6 of his 8 points have come from the foul line. Back to a 10-point lead. Nice cut to the basket and pass to Josh Anderson to lay it in.
Boy, South Carolina continues to struggle at guarding simple back screens. If your man sets it, you've got to open up and give some help. Otherwise, you're going to give up layups just like that.
Stevenson around that screen. Little pick and roll, and it bounced right to Brandon Martin in the right spot to lay it in.
Boy, what a pass by Trayvon Minot. We'll call it a pass, but I think it was more of a fumble, and sometimes better to be lucky than good. Fortunate right there for South Carolina.
Pass over the top. Sharp trying to throw it off of Martin, but they get it ahead to Reese, who lays it in. You know, Brandon Martin came in this game. He's really made an impact.
No, he has. He's made shots. He made the early three, and right there, just opportunistic on the defensive end of the floor. Turnovers, again, continuing to be the main story for both teams.
Just as South Carolina had opened up their largest lead of the game of 12, Hilltoppers get it back to 10.
Davion McKnight can really get to the rim, and he can really score that thing when he does.
You good, Eric?
Off the back rim from Stevenson. Aggressive defense from Eric Stevenson, and a not very happy Josh Anderson. Our officials discussing what they saw here. A little bit of jawing going on, and now Terry Oglesby has to get in between a couple of players. Amy Bonner, Byron Jarrett, the rest of the officiating crew here. Let's take another look, as the officials are going to review this as well to see if there is a flagrant foul involved.
There is no question, Mark, that this is a hard foul. Now, we'll see if it's flagrant. Josh Anderson going upstairs, and I mean, it's a hard foul, but I don't see anything malicious about this. He actually gets ball. There's a lot of body contact, but
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't see anything flagrant there. Hard foul, but as you mentioned so well, he definitely was going for the basketball.
Right.
You can see that.
I mean, there's certainly a collision there, and it's a substantial one, but he's trying to block that shot, and it's not going to make Josh Anderson feel any better about getting clocked in midair, but he does make a play on the ball, and because of that, I think this is just a common foul.
Now, I'm sure Anderson, in that fraction of a second, he was hanging in the air off balance. That's a really frightening moment before you hit the floor.
Your legs kind of come up from underneath you, and you know you're going to pop the ground, and it feels like an eternity when it happens to you.
Well, they're going to go with a flagrant one foul here.
I'm honestly really surprised by that. I mean, there was substantial contact, but maybe because it's a dangerous play, and it ends up being a dangerous play with the contact in the air. But to me, that's a soft flagrant.
And will maintain possession of the ball.
Take a look at the rule book. I guess the thing that they're probably looking at is the excessive
contact.
Was it excessive? It's certainly subjective.
That's up for interpretation, I guess.
Yeah. Frank Martin talking with Terry Oglesby about that decision.
I see how they got to that decision, but I disagree.
Well, the end result of this is going to be an opportunity for Western Kentucky to try to cut into this deficit. And Josh Anderson hits both free throws. And now his team down 8. Keeps possession. Here is Anderson. 16-footer. Missed by McKnight. So a flagrant foul call and all. They settle for just the 2 points that trip down the floor. Carter again driving to the rim. And the flush on the putback by Levesque.
Well, the drive by Devin Carter puts so much pressure on your defense because the defender has to come over, and Wilded Levesque all by himself.
Blocking foul there.
You can see, and you know with Jamarion Sharp, he's a shot blocker. He's going to be around the basketball, and if he's on your team and you're one of those guards, you've got to know, I've got to crack down on whoever Jamarion Sharp is guarding. If we don't, that ball comes off, it's going to be a tip drill.
Foul on Levesque, his third, so he and Stevenson in each with 3. South Carolina. Tuesday night, a great college hoops doubleheader for you. Number 25 Virginia is in Houston to take on 15th ranked the Cougars at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, and then the Phil Knight Invitational back this year. It's a single matchup. BYU squares off against number 13 Oregon. From Portland, both games are on ESPN and the app. One app, one tap. Anderson stays perfect at the line. Lead is 8 for South Carolina. It's the third place game of the inaugural Asheville Championship from Asheville, North Carolina. Deflected. Goes out of bounds. Who touched that last? Apparently Western Kentucky did. Anderson with those recent free throws now at 13 points. Lead Western Kentucky.
You can see Western Kentucky going a little 1-3-1 right here.
Spin move in the bucket for Josh Gray.
Boy, that was the spinorama right there. I mean, Jamarion Sharp has such an impact, even when he doesn't block shots. But that time, impressive job by Josh Gray of not traveling. But, boy, he was doing the whirly bird right there.
The first bucket of the game for Gray. 8 minutes to go. South Carolina by 10. Reese leading South Carolina with 14. Gray foul, got pushed in the back underneath. South Carolina trying to work around their 19 turnovers, are still up by 10 in Asheville.
James Reese has had a nice bounce back since the 2 of 12 outing against Princeton 2 nights ago. 14 points, 5 of 10 from the field. He's got 4 threes. He's also played really good defense on Davion McKnight along with Jermaine Couisnard. He's done a little bit of everything tonight for Frank Martin's ball club. And boy, they really need his perimeter shooting, but he's been a big part of that perimeter attack.
So with 7:45 to go in this third place game, South Carolina the 10-point lead. Western Kentucky's been playing from behind most of this game. In fact, their last lead, they were up 9-8 about 6 minutes into the game in the first half. We're able to get back this game to tie it here in the second half. We're never able to reclaim the lead here in the second half. 9 team fouls against Western Kentucky, so a 1-and-1 here for Josh Gray. We just hit his first free throw, made free throw, as a Gamecock. He had missed 2 prior to that, earlier games.
South Carolina has some serious size. I mean, you see that shot of him at the free throw line. Him, Wildens Levesque, Devon Benson, Trayvon Minot, Taquan Woodley. I mean, they just have huge guys.
And they have a 10-rebound edge, most likely as a result of that. But there's a stuff for Jarius Hamilton, who finds himself in double figures with 10 points.
I think that'll be the last possession of the zone we see South Carolina go. They came out a different look, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go right back to man-to-man.
Couisnard 3. He answers for South Carolina. His second 3 today, 13 points.
Him and James Reese have been much better from the perimeter. Couisnard got a couple to go late against Princeton, and it's been a different story. South Carolina making some shots from the perimeter. They need that.
Gamecocks with the ball in their largest lead of the game, 13 points, but they've just turned it over for a 20th time. I think that'll count as a turnover. I'm not really sure if Josh Anderson had possession of that at any time.
The shot clock's at 18, so I would have to assume they're going to say that they never got possession.
There you go.
On the spot, you got to
There goes Carter. And in the right spot, Trayvon Minot with his first field goal today.
Devin Carter again putting pressure on Western Kentucky at the rim, and they defend his initial shot well, but Minot, again, the size of South Carolina, just too much for Western Kentucky.
Hamilton three from the corner. Nothing there. Butts underneath. That's his third field goal, 8 points. I don't know about you, Robbie, but for me, there's a steal, and then they throw it back away.
South Carolina has got to get Josh Gray out of the press breaker. Whenever he's been back there in Western Kentucky's press, something bad has happened. You've got to get multiple handlers back there. You got to get people flashing into the middle. And there you see Josh Gray heading towards half court. That's a much better place for him there.
Anderson.
Somebody's got help.
And Frampton. Yep.
That's a lonely feeling when you're Jacoby Wright. You see three defenders and nobody's coming to help you get the ball.
Gray trying to get over Butts, lost the handle. Loose ball, tied up. Possession arrow favors Western Kentucky. Still with 5.5 minutes to play in this third-place game from the Asheville Championship. Minnesota and Princeton playing later tonight on ESPN2 at 7:30 Eastern in the title game. A Frampton three, batted around, and the South Carolina rebound. Right, Carter, Devin Carter with the flush.
South Carolina was so fortunate there because Luke Frampton got a wide open shot against the zone. That rebound gets batted out, and Devin Carter showing off just how athletic he is, going upstairs and hammering that one.
Bucks an and one opportunity. A foul on Minot. 10 points for Carter. He has not been shy by taking the ball to the rim. This was in transition. There's the foul.
Jalen Butts just going to work on Trayvon Minot. And you're right about Devin Carter. That's a great sign to see a freshman being as aggressive and assertive as he's been tonight. Whether that's running the offense or getting out in transition, you can see why he was rated in the top 100 players in the country. He's had a really nice night tonight.
Offensive rebound, McKnight short with the putback. Yeah, that last one was in transition, but even in the half court, Robbie, he's not been shy about taking the ball to the rim.
No, he's played some pick and roll. He's been aggressive driving the ball and putting pressure on the defense at the rim. He's really done that.
Here is Devin Carter. He gets in the lane, a little contact, puts up the shot, and he will shoot two.
You can see Frank Martin has all the trust in the world in this freshman because they're running Brandon Martin up to slip a screen and basically just say, Devin Carter, go get us a basket.
Devin Carter shooting two.
South Carolina getting activity off the bench. That's 21 points from their bench today. Just 5 bench points for Western Kentucky. Big part of that is Devin Carter. Come off the bench. Double digits. A dozen. Left elbow, McKnight got it.
That was a really good screen. Davion McKnight just flew right off it and thought he had the opening there, got to his pull-up.
Loose ball taken away. Anderson gives it up. The bounce pass McKnight, and one opportunity for Davion McKnight.
That's going to be Wildens Levesque's 4th foul. And how about the finish? It's the dump off right here. And again, turnovers plaguing South Carolina. It's been such an issue. The finish, though, by Davion McKnight. That's some serious hang time right there.
And as Robbie mentioned, 4 fouls on Levesque. He's the first South Carolina player to 4. And the 3-point play finished off by McKnight. This one he thought South Carolina was about to put him away, Robbie. Here come the Toppers again, and you get a 10-point game.
If you're Western Kentucky, this press has got to be full go because South Carolina has proven all night that they want no part of it. 22 turnovers now. That's insane.
Carter kind of got a little far under the rim and threw it out, and it results in a turnover and a chance for the Hilltoppers to cut into the 10-point deficit. Three and a half minutes to go. There's a 3. Josh Anderson. Don't count out Western Kentucky yet. This 8-0 run to make it a 7-point game. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Harrah's Cherokee Casinos. Put on your party hat. By Wicked Weed. Box out your thirst with a fresh Pernicious. Wicked Weed Brewing. Drink different, play different. And by Asheville, North Carolina. Visit exploreasheville.com and plan your mountain getaway. Robbie, let's take a look at these numbers for the South Carolina offense. You can live with 46% from the field. That's about 35% three-point shooting. Not bad, but and the bench points. But the little nugget at the bottom, 23 turnovers.
No, there's been some good here for South Carolina's offense. But once again, the circle of life of this game where South Carolina builds a lead, starts to turn it over, Western Kentucky trims that lead. South Carolina pushes the lead back out again. Turnovers happen. Western Kentucky's right back in it. And that's been the deal all night long. And Frank Martin's going to have some positives to build from. But, boy, you can't turn the ball over like this and beat good teams. It's not going to happen.
Just over a minute ago on the clock, they were up 15, the Gamecocks. Now it's a 7-point lead. 8-0 run for Western Kentucky in under a minute. Third place game from the Asheville Championship. Tariq Couisnard got that one to fall.
That was a very good offensive possession for South Carolina. The way they moved the ball against the zone, they overloaded it. You find the shooter in the corner. A big shot right there by Jermaine Couisnard.
McKnight just steps through, unable to finish it though, and it winds up in the arms of Couisnard. Winner of this game takes the third place in this inaugural Asheville Championship. Carter.
Oh, what a pass.
Couisnard couldn't pay it off with the 3, but now that 3 in and out. Carter gets it back, and he just says, I won't take the assist, I'll take the points. Thank you, guys.
Boy, both those plays by Devin Carter, whether it's the pass or the rebound right there, big time by the freshman. And that was so well done.
Stay down!
Under 2 minutes to go. Frampton.
Right there.
That's a deep 3 out front and a swish by Hamilton. Timeout. Hilltoppers with 1:49 to go. Well, for Western Kentucky, after this tournament in Asheville, next up for them, they will play Friday night at Memphis, a game you can see on ESPN Plus. That's not going to be an easy chore.
No. You look at Memphis, they have reloaded. Penny Hardaway has himself a ball club there. You have to think for Western Kentucky, though, it's all going to be about building towards Conference USA play. You're hoping you get some guys back. And certainly you really want to build that resume, but with the way that their schedule turns out, you always are going to have an opportunity to make the NCAA tournament through your conference championship. And it hasn't maybe happened for them over the last 4 years, but they've been knocking on the door.
They do play another SEC team. They play Ole Miss in Atlanta. That's on December 11th. Louisville as well. You mentioned the conference play. Conference USA play opens up for Western Kentucky at Southern Miss on December 30th. The other side for South Carolina, after they finish this third-place game in Asheville, they play Thursday night against UAB. That's on SEC Network Plus. Other interesting games for them. They got the Florida State matchup. That's actually going to be played in Rock Hill, South Carolina. That game on ESPN2. That is on December 12th. And the SEC opener, by the way, they have Clemson as well on ACC Network. We're talking conference openers. They open up against Auburn. That's in Columbia on SEC Network on January 4th. For me, Devin Carter's been the story of this game.
Totally.
Trying to lob it to Levesque. Get up, but staying with the Gamecocks.
Frank Martin has put the ball in the hands of Devin Carter, and he's told his freshmen just go make plays, and that's exactly what he's done.
Well, of the 14 points for Devin Carter come in this second half, with the clock shot winding down. A little scrum around the rim. Ball didn't hit the rim, and it's Western Kentucky ball with just 1:19 to go.
That shot had no chance, but the good thing about it was that it was a shot clock violation, so you could set your defense. You're going in there on Jamarion Sharp. Eric Stevens is lucky the ball didn't pop.
It's the 18th Western Kentucky turnover, and there's Devin Carter with his second stuff of the game. And he has 16. So South Carolina sitting pretty with an 11-point lead and just over a minute to go in this third-place game. The championship game, this inaugural Asheville championship, coming up 7:30 Eastern. So that's looking at 36 minutes from now on ESPN2. Minnesota against Princeton. You and I will have that call on ESPN2. Robbie, what are you expecting from the championship game?
I expect it to be full-on bombs away from the three-point line. And I think that if you like three-point shots, this is one where you should tune in. Both Princeton and Minnesota filled it up 2 nights ago, and they're going to be looking to do just that here tonight.
That's Princeton, by the way, getting loose. The Tigers are a winner over South Carolina Friday. That's coming up at 7:30 Eastern over on ESPN2 between Minnesota and Princeton. Princeton, by the way, has not won an in-season tournament like this since the 1998-99 season when they won the Rainbow Classic in Honolulu.
I was going to say, back then, there was there was Maui, there was the Rainbow Classic, and there was Alaska. So your options were pretty limited back then. That's a long time.
All right. Minute to go in this third-place game. McKnight. Ball almost got stuck in the heel on the back of the rim for a moment, but it rolls off. And South Carolina going to improve to 2-1 and take the third-place game in the Asheville tournament. Stevenson had it knocked off by Frampton.
Boy, Frank
takeaways
is not happy.
That's where I was about to lead you. What's a takeaway for South Carolina? I mean, they're going to get a win here.
And that's the most important thing is you win the game and you shoot the basketball better. That was an issue last year. It certainly we saw it was an issue against Princeton, but the turnovers, you cannot win games in the SEC when you turn the ball over 20+ times. It's never going to happen. But Devin Carter was a really nice addition here tonight. We knew he was talented, but he played a great game. You add that into James Reese and Jermaine Couisnard. The guards played very well for South Carolina. There's no doubt about that.
And shot clock expired. Final seconds.
Wait, what? What? I think Rick Stansberry's like, well, why did you stop the play? He's still at half court.
He's ready for the handshakes. Yeah. He's going to shake hands with Frank Martin. They'll inbounds And McKnight's shot. 75-64. South Carolina wins it over Western Kentucky, and they take the third-place game. Devin Carter, by the way, 16 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. What a game for him, Rob.
No, he played great. You could tell Frank Martin said, I'm going to put the ball in this freshman's hands, let him make play. The guard played tonight for South Carolina. Excellent.
For Robbie Hummel and our great crew, I'm Mark Neely. We hope to see you at 7:30 Eastern Time over on ESPN2 for the title game.